Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Marina and I'm so glad you are here for a new exciting tutorial. The materials you'll need for this tank top are a 3.5mm crochet hook, scissors, a tapestry needle, tape measure, stitch markers, fine yarn in 2 different colors. I'm using Atlantica from one of my absolute favorite sustainable yarn brand, Hoooked. I would say it's in between sport and decay yarn. It's 40% recycled cotton, 40% organic cotton, 20% seacell, which is a material made from algae. I'm using crab orange as color A and sunshine yellow as color B. For size S, I've used around 98 grams of color A and around 85 grams of color B, 4 yarn balls in total. For those of you who prefer written instructions and can support my business with a small contribution, the simplified written pattern is available on my website, Etsy and Ravelry, so you can easily follow along with the video and refer back to it whenever you need. You can find the links in the description down below. For this pattern, you'll need to take a few measurements, so grab your tape measure and measure your bust area. Divide this measurement in half. Now add 2.5 inches to this half measurement. This will be the measurement for your foundation chain. The pattern consists of a 10-row repeat. You will change color every 2 rows. I'd like to add that this pattern is suitable for intermediate crocheters due to techniques such as color changes and decreases. We'll start with a foundation half double crochet, which is a technique used to create a foundation row of half double crochet stitches without having to first create a chain and then work stitches into it. It's a useful method for starting a more flexible and stretchy foundation. By the way, I love the texture and feel of this yarn so much, and equally important, it's so easy to work with. You can remove the internal roll and begin by pulling the yarn from the center. So convenient. Let's begin with color A. Make a slip knot and chain 2. Yarn over, then insert your hook into the first chain. Yarn over again and pull this loop through the chain. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Next, yarn over again and pull through the first loop only. This creates the foundation chain. Finally, yarn over once more and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. This completes the first foundation half double crochet stitch. To create the next foundation half double crochet stitch, yarn over and insert your hook into the 2 loops created by the chain at the base of the previous stitch. Yarn over again and pull this loop through the chain. Next, yarn over and pull through the first loop only. This creates the foundation chain. Yarn over once more and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. To create the next foundation half double crochet stitch, yarn over and insert your hook into the 2 loops created by the chain at the base of the previous stitch. Yarn over again and pull this loop through the chain. Next, yarn over and pull through the first loop only. This creates the foundation chain. Yarn over once more and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Continue making foundation half double crochet in this manner until you reach the desired measurement we mentioned earlier. Remember, you'll need to have an odd number of stitches. For example, I made 91 foundation half double crochet, which correspond to 19.5 inches without stretching. Row 2, with color A chain 1, turn your work. You'll be making a half double crochet slip stitch in the back loop only. This stitch is also called yarn over slip stitch. So I recommend working fairly loose. Yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop of the stitch. Pull up a loop and gently lift the hook to create more space. I also use my fingers to hold the work and pull that loop directly through the other two loops. Continue this way, working 1 half double crochet slip stitch, back loop only in every stitch across. So yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop of the stitch, pull up a loop and gently pull that loop directly through the other two loops. After completing the second row, if you measure your work, it should be approximately 2 inches larger than your half bust measurement. Now let's change color. As you work your last stitch, yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, then drop your current yarn and use the new color to complete the stitch. Chain 1 and pull both yarn tails firmly to secure. You can keep the old yarn attached as we'll use it again. Row 3. Chain 1 more and turn. Work 1 double crochet into the first stitch. Remember, the beginning chain does not count as a stitch, so place the first double crochet into the very first stitch of the row. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, 1 double crochet. Repeat chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet until the end of the row. Row 4. For row 4, chain 1 and turn. Work 1 half double crochet into the first stitch, then work 1 half double crochet into each stitch and 1 half double crochet into each chain space across the row. When you reach the last half double crochet stitch, switch color before closing the stitch. Chain 2 and turn your work. Row 5. In row 5, we'll work in the front loop only. So identify the front loop as the loop closest to you. The back loop is away from you. And insert 1 double crochet into the front loop only. I recommend angling your hook to be parallel to the work rather than perpendicular. This will make it easier to slip into the front loop only without accidentally grabbing extra loops. The skipped back loops will create a nice texture on the right side of the work. Continue with 1 double crochet in the front loop only until the end of the row. Chain 1, turn. Row 6. Work 1 half double crochet slip stitch in the back loop only into each stitch across as seen for row 2. Change color before closing the last stitch, chain 2 and turn. Row 7 is a simple row of regular double crochet stitches across. Chain 1, turn. Row 8 is another row of half double crochet slip stitch in the back loop only. Change color before closing the last stitch, chain 2 and turn. Row 9 is like row 3, so begin by inserting 1 double crochet into the first stitch. Then chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet. Repeat across the row. Chain 1, turn. Row 10 is like row 4, so a repetition of half double crochet stitches working into each stitch and chain space across. This concludes our 10 row pattern repeat. To continue the pattern, repeat these 10 rows again. The first row of the repeat after completing row 10 will be a normal half double crochet row and not a foundation half double crochet. So let's crochet row 11 together. Change color before closing the last stitch, chain 1, turn, then work 1 half double crochet in each stitch across. Continue repeating these last 10 rows until you reach your desired length, measuring from the hem to underneath your armpit. Here is a recap of the rows for reference. You can use these instructions to crochet independently or refer back to the timestamps below to rewatch the video for each row. I've reached my desired length of 29 rows, which corresponds to 10 inches. Now we are ready to start decreasing to shape the front straps of the tank top. Feel free to watch how I decrease for each row and apply those instructions to your own panel. You are not obliged to finish your panel with the row that correspond to row 9 of the pattern repeat. As long as you know how to decrease and how many decreases to do, you can begin decreasing on any row. I hope that makes sense. My first decrease row is row 30, so I work half double crochet stitches. First decrease row. Chain 1, turn and work 1 half double crochet 2 together, decreasing by working into the first stitch and then the chain space. Continue with regular half double crochet into each stitch until 2 stitches before the end. Here you'll place another half double crochet 2 together, working into the second to last chain space and the last stitch. We also need to change color, so before closing the stitch, change the yarn and then chain 1. Now you are ready to place your stitch markers to identify where the straps will be created. First, find the middle stitch. I have a total of 89 stitches, so my middle stitch is the 45th stitch. Next, decide how large you want your round neck to be. Keep in mind that a larger round neck means smaller straps. Ideally, you want to leave around 15 stitches for the round neck, but this will depend on your stitch count and bra cup size. In my case, I'll count 7 stitches to the right and 7 stitches to the left from the middle stitch and place my stitch markers. Ensure the remaining stitches are symmetrical. I have 36 stitches on both sides. The round neck corresponds to about 3.2 inches. You are now ready to begin making the first strap, which will extend up to the first stitch marker. This side will be where the underarm is, and the other side will form the internal neck shape. Second decrease row. The second decrease row will have 2 decreases on the underarm side and 1 decrease on the neck side. My second decrease row is row 1 of my pattern repeat, so it's a half double crochet row. I start by making 2 half double crochet 2 together. Continuing with regular half double crochet until 2 stitches from the stitch marker. Here, remove the stitch marker and make 1 half double crochet 2 together into the last 2 stitches. Chain 1, turn. Third decrease row. This row will have 1 decrease in the neck area and 2 decreases on the underarm area. My row is a half double crochet slip stitch in the back loop only. So start with the decrease. Continue with half double crochet slip stitch back loop only in each stitch across until you are 4 stitches from the end. Here make 2 half double crochet slip stitch back loop only 2 together. Change color before closing the stitch, chain 2, turn. Fourth decrease row. Again, we'll decrease twice on the underarm side and once on the other side. My row is a mesh stitch row, so I start with 2 double crochet 2 together. Chain 1, skip 1, then work 1 double crochet. Repeat the sequence chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet until you have 3 stitches remaining. Chain 1, skip 1, then work 1 double crochet 2 together in the last 2 stitches. Chain 1, turn. Fifth decrease row. This row will have 1 decrease at the beginning and 2 decreases at the end. I begin with 1 half double crochet 2 together, then work 1 half double crochet in each stitch across. Ending with 2 half double crochet 2 together. Before closing the last stitch, change color, chain 1, turn. Sixth decrease row. This row will have 2 decreases at the beginning and 1 at the end. Start with 2 double crochet front loop only, 2 together. Then continue with 1 double crochet front loop only in each stitch across. And with 1 double crochet front loop only, 2 together, chain 1, turn. Seventh decrease row. Start with 1 decrease, working 1/2 double crochet slip stitch back loop only, 2 together. Then work 1/2 double crochet slip stitch back loop only across the row. Make 2 decreases at the end of the row. Change color, chain 2, turn. Eighth decrease row. Make 2 decreases at the beginning of the row. And 1 decrease at the end. Chain 1, turn. From the 9th decrease row, continue by decreasing only once on both sides for 2 rows. In my 9th and 10th decrease rows, I decrease once on each side. 10th decrease row. This row is a mesh double crochet, so double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 row. After my last double crochet, I have only 2 stitches left, so I directly decrease to end the row, just so you know in case it happens to you as well. Now we stop decreasing and continue with the normal pattern repeat until we reach the top of the shoulder. So far, I've created a 3.5 inch long decrease panel. Feel free to adjust the number of regular rows to fit your own body. I've worked a total of 10 regular rows without decreasing to get an almost 8 inch long strap. The width of the strap will change according to your total stitch count, so larger sizes might have wider straps. Feel free to continue decreasing until you achieve the desired strap width. Once you are done, repeat the same process for the other strap. Cut the yarn and fasten off. Attach the new yarn at the stitch marker to keep the work symmetrical. Once you are done with the second strap, cut the yarn and fasten off. Now it's time to work on the back panel, which is exactly the same as the front panel, but without the stitch markers in the middle. So repeat the exact same decreases, but without the neck shaping. I leave all the correct decreases on the screen so you can pause the video and work on your panel. Once the back panel is done, we'll add 2 more rows to accommodate the curving of the shoulders and make it fit better. Chain 1, work 1 half double crochet across for 2 rows. After completing the 2 extra rows, it's time to block the panels and join them together. Use the blocking method you prefer. I personally like steam blocking. This is also a good opportunity to stretch your panel to ensure it measures as you intended. I stretch my panel and use a tape measure to ensure it matches my desired measurements. Next, lay the panels flat with the wrong side facing up. We'll begin with the shoulder seam. I'm going to use a variation of the mattress stitch, but feel free to use any seaming method of your choice. Start by threading the yarn onto a needle and insert the needle into the corresponding beginning stitch on the other side. Now insert the needle through the external loops on both sides, going inside out like lacing shoes, making sure to match every stitch with its corresponding stitch on the other side. You'll see a really flat and tidy seam on the right side of your work. Continue this way until the end of the strap, then waving the end afterwards. Repeat the process on the other side. Once your shoulder seam is done, it's time to crochet a single crochet edge all around your panels. To do this, keep the right side facing up and attach color B to the bottom corner. Chain 1 and insert 1 single crochet into every row. For taller rows, such as double crochet rows, insert 2 single crochet into each row. Feel free to follow your intuition and place more or fewer stitches as needed. If you kept the tails of the color change like me, I recommend keeping them inside your work when working a single crochet edge like this. This way they will disappear and not be visible. When you arrive at the bottom left corner, cut a long piece of yarn and fasten off. Fold the top with the right sides facing each other. You'll now seam the size of your top. Use a stitch marker to identify the armpit and thread the yarn onto a needle. Repeat the same procedure previously explained for the shoulder seam. Here is the final seam on the wrong side and on the right side. Pretty neat, right? Make a single crochet edge and seam the panels together on the other side as well. Now that you have joined the panels, it's time to add a finishing touch, a single crochet edge around the neck. Attach color B on the back side, chain 1, and insert 1 single crochet into every row. As previously explained, for taller rows such as double crochet rows, insert 2 single crochet into each row. After the last single crochet, cut the yarn and pull the tail through. Thread it onto a needle and insert it into the first single crochet of the round. Then go back to the last stitch and insert the needle through the back loop only. Pull firmly and wave in the end. This is called invisible join. Wave in all the remaining ends and your new striped tank top is finished. I hope you liked this tutorial. If you did, let me know what color you are planning to use for your new tank top. And don't forget to tag me on social media, Bloodimaryart, if you post about it. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.